Our next guest gave a primetime speech here at the convention on Monday night. Senator from the great state of Arkansas, Tom Cotton. Senator, thanks for joining us. I am sick of hearing you asked, and I'm sure you're sick of answering the question of where you stand on Donald Trump. You've been asked all the time. People try to sort of get you to admit the truth. So let me just ask you this. How's the convention going? Forget that you're a nominee. How's the convention going?
I'm having a lot of fun at the convention. I think it's been going pretty well. As we were talking just earlier, this is the first time the Republican Party of Arkansas has ever been a majority party coming into a convention. So our delegation is very excited. So I think it's been a great week so far.
Evaluate how the convention has gone from the point of view of uniting the party behind Donald Trump.
I think we're moving in the right direction. I think coming out of this week, we're going to be largely united, if not entirely. And that's important because in the end, a united party is not enough. Republicans don't make up a majority in this country any more than do Democrats. We've got to come out of here ready to appeal to moderates, to independents, and even disaffected Democrats who won't change.
Mark's tired of asking you the question about Trump, but I'm not yet, at least. I know you've been a little evasive is the word, maybe, not like telling without asking you what your position is, because obviously you don't really want to say. Why are you being so why are you exhibiting such lack of clarity on this question?
Well, I spoke at the convention that is nominating Donald Trump. He's now our nominee, and I've said all along that I would support the nominee. I support the Trump-Pence ticket. I think a Republican president and a Republican Congress will make for a safer and more prosperous America than with Hillary Clinton in the White House or Democrats in control of the Congress.
So that seems like a pretty wholehearted endorsement, right? Is there? Yeah. You're all for these guys.
That's that's the choice we have, and I believe again that with Donald Trump and Mike Pence in the White House, Republicans in control of the Senate. As I said Monday night, help is going to be on the way for our troops, but I also think help will be on the way for all Americans.
Beyond your own speech, what have you seen in the last 2 days that you think successfully does what you just talked about, which is to appeal to a broader group than just the Republican base? What have they done so far that's expanded the coalition?
I actually think the Trump family has done a very good job of introducing Donald to a broader audience, telling maybe a different side than they see in the news. Melania's speech and then the speech of Donald Trump Jr. and Tiffany last night. I suspect that'll continue tonight with Ivanka and with Eric's speech as well.
As you look at the Clinton campaign, what are they doing that's smart?
Hard for me to say, but tough polls for Secretary Clinton. Yeah. They may have a technically proficient campaign. They may be able to slice and dice the voters into different segments. They may have a great turnout operation, but if you don't have a candidate that motivates people to go vote, sometimes it's hard to get a horse to drink water even if you take them to water.
Who do you make the favorite in the race then, Trump or Clinton?
Right now, I think it's probably a toss-up. This is certainly going to be a race unlike anything we've seen in our adult lifetimes. But I think the American people want change right now, and that if we make the case as Republicans that we're going to bring the kind of change they need, if we are in fact going to get the economy working for working folks again, if we're going to make America safe again, then in the end that American people are going to vote for Donald Trump for the presidency, and they're going to vote for Republicans in the Senate and the House.
Not sure we'll get a chance to talk to you before your nominee's acceptance speech tomorrow. So what does Donald Trump need to do in that speech tomorrow to achieve whatever goals he has?
I think he needs to lay out the case, much of which he's laid out in the primaries, and since the primaries, the Republican Party is going to speak to the everyday practical anxieties and concerns of the vast middle class, working class, and working poor. That we're going to get the economy moving again, we're going to get people back into jobs, we're going to get wages increasing in those jobs, and that we're going to make people safe on the streets here in America, and that we're also going to help address the chaotic situation around the world.
When you showed up at our location here today, you had to walk through a protest. There was a feisty activity out there, SWAT teams, some stuff going on out there. Earlier in the week, Paul Manafort said if there's unrest at the convention, Donald Trump will benefit politically. Do you think that's true?
Well, I don't think there's been much unrest. Obviously there was a protest. I think protests typically happen at most conventions. But I was just remarking earlier today to an Arkansas reporter just how minimal the security disruptions have been. We haven't seen that many protesters.
We're still only halfway through. But do you think Manafort's right? If there's significant unrest, does Donald Trump benefit politically?
Well, not just at the RNC or here in Cleveland. I think as we see a rising crime wave around our country, we see police officers being assassinated by racist cop killers, the Republicans, as the party of law and order, the party that believes in backing the blue and keeping violent felons in prison where they belong, the American people are going to turn to the party that believes in being tough on crime, not the party the Democrats are, which is being soft on crime.
How do you feel about trying to stop a kind of a pseudo-Arkansan from getting to the White House?
Well, she's very much a pseudo-Arkansan.
Yeah. How so?
So I don't think Hillary's done a press conference in, 9 or 10 months?
Yeah.
That's kind of how she treated Arkansans for 16 years.
Really? She was not available to you when you were there?
I would not say that she had a large public persona or there's a deep there's a deep reservoir of warm feelings for Hillary Clinton.
What did
in
you
Arkansas.
think of the Clintons as you were growing up?
You know, I was 15 by the time he was elected president, so I didn't have much of an impression other than just the fact that he was our governor.
As a 15-year-old, did you have pride in the fact that an Arkansan was in the White House?
Yeah, so that was about the time in my life when I started reading the news as opposed to just reading the sports pages in the newspaper, and I thought it was kind of neat that my governor was running for president and got elected to president and was president, and then I realized what he believed, and I thought, I must be a Republican.
Have you seen Lou Holtz since he got here?
I have not.
He's around.
He's a great speaker.
Yeah, he is a great speaker.